What's up, guys? Welcome back to Newswave. Sony did have their state of play yesterday, and I went through, recorded everything I could line by line. I figured we'd go over every announcement here today, which does include, yes, a big first-party studio from Sony finally showing up. Also, we do have Level 5 with their own showcase that actually revealed some games now moving into 2026, and yeah, that does even include a PlayStation 4 title. And then we also have Ubisoft, which something strange is going on there right now with Assassin's Creed Shadows, because now they're canceling events and even previews that were originally planned. So if you guys enjoy these videos, make sure you hit that like button, helps it a ton. And if new here to the Spawn Wave channel, make sure you subscribe down below. And of course, members for the channel do get Newswave early. If you would like to learn more about that, click the join button down below this video. And we're gonna start today with Sonic Central, which was a presentation that happened yesterday morning, and it kind of flew under the radar, especially with all the state of play stuff that was happening. And also, there wasn't like any big video game announcement there. However, for Sonic fans, I'm sure they're pretty happy with what was there because it was just kind of all things Sonic across all different media. So we did have a roundup that I'll leave down below from My Nintendo News, as well as some of their Sonic Central here. I'm starting at the top with Sonic Cross Shadow Generations. Of course, they do want to have a new story trailer here to showcase it heading into its release. That's not too far off. Also, Sonic Rumble. That's an all-new mobile Sonic party game. It is coming this winter to both mobile and PC, so there you go, can technically play it on your PC as well as on your phone. Sonic Dream Team, that's getting a new playable character. Now, we also had Chow Tales, which is the new animated web series, Sonic the Hedgehog, DC, and Warner Bros. So in 2025, there's a big collaboration apparently between DC and Sonic, so they looked like they had like superheroes and stuff crossing over with Sonic characters, and then a whole range of partnerships for Sonic themed products and experiences. They have like Lego, Top Golf, Jack's Pacific, PDP First Four Figures, which I'm sure will get quite a bit of money for that one at a Sonic fan. So again, nothing massive in terms of video game or new video game announcements, but certainly a lot of new content here heading into next year for Sonic fans to look forward to. Also, we did see Rocksteady absolutely flounder with Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, but there's a chance they're going back to what they were good at in the first place. We think. This is posted up over on Twitter X. This is from Special Nick, who says, not sure which studio people's dream is, but I heard Rocksteady are back making it. That being just Batman, as he quote tweeted, obviously the big symbol there. And also mentioned Sony is trying to money hat it, which that actually sounds very believable as well from what we've seen with Sony, especially just this generation so far. And I think it makes sense for Rocksteady to go back to just Batman, but they do still have to do something, I think, a bit different than just going back to like Arkham like that. I think a really cool move, because I feel like it would translate well over to a video game, is Batman Beyond. It would feel way different than the Arkham series that they've done, and it might even reinvigorate them a bit with a newer futuristic setting and all kinds of cool gadgets and things they can do there with the newer, the more futuristic Batman. Just an idea, but I think that would be really, really cool. And again, stick to what you're good at, which is that single player, narrative driven experience. I mean, it's worked for them really well in the past. Didn't work when they got away from that with Suicide Squad. I think you go back to what, again, you were known for and what you're good at. Oh, and we need to get sales numbers here for Unicorn Overlord, and it's actually great news. We can see this over there on official account, where they say it's official. Unicorn Overlord has sold over 1 million units worldwide, which is awesome actually for Vanillaware. I mean, this game is just over 6 months old, and it's a more, traditional style kind of RPG, and I mean, it touching 1 million units already in like half a year since its release. It's great again for Vanillaware, who hasn't exactly been the most flush when it comes to cash flow, but then to have a game like this where they stick to their roots and they create something that, again, more traditional, not necessarily like, oh, let's just make an action game to try to conform to maybe catching on to the mainstream, sticking with what they know and creating something that is still unique with Unicorn Overlord. So it's good to see them attain this kind of success this quickly. 1 million units or something like that is actually really, really good. I know we talk about, oh, it's got to hit 5 or 10 million units. For Vanillaware, with the budget they usually set out, something like this is what they're happy with, especially when it's put in context, again, around Vanillaware with 1 million copies here in Unicorn Overlord. And guys, with some of the quick news out of the way, let's get into the bigger stuff. Let's start right away with the Sony State of Play that did go on for more than 30 minutes, although they did say 30 plus minutes. It was also, I guess, more than 20 titles, although we had like DLC thrown in there, updates, controllers were happening. There's a lot of stuff going on here. But we did get one of the big first-party studios from Sony that was creating an anticipated sequel, kinda, or just another game in the franchise, and I was really happy to see them show up, but we'll get to that at the end of the show since they did close it out, which we'll start here at the top with Astrobot, which, again, awesome game. If you have not picked this one up, I highly recommend it. And it looks like they will continue, of course, with their updates that they have discussed happening. Here, they're going to have 5 new speedrun online levels, 10 new bots. They showed off Helldivers and Stellar Blade, which we already knew about, like Stellar Blade, because there were credits and stuff people were looking through, but they showed them here in the trailer. And then we have, I guess, a few other bots to look forward to that they'll leave as a surprise. Fall 2024, and yes, it is a free update, so really cool stuff there. We have the Midnight Walk. Those creators of Lost in Random. Looked kind of like Nightmare Before Christmas. Tim Burton sort of looked to it. PlayStation 5 or PSVR 2, so I guess they'll just have a VR mode to go alongside with the regular release. Let's see, then we had Hell Is Us. Metro Awakening VR. This is a PSVR 2 title, of course, November 7th. Archage Chronicles. That's 2025. Pow World. It's out now, so basically they like shadow dropped this game. However, some news just broke before I was recording here, as it appears it will not be releasing in Japan, which is where Nintendo is suing them for patent infringement. So at least in that region, it's not coming out, but it's out now in basically any other region around the world where they would have normally released this. A Lunar Remastered Collection. A bit of a surprise here. I was not expecting this one. Really cool to see this Lunar 1 and 2 upgraded visuals, sound, music, coming out spring 2025. When I look back on that PS1, or even Sega CD era, I don't really think that much of Lunar. I think of other RPGs at that time, and I would love to go back and check these out, because I checked them out very briefly, even later on, actually, I think even during the PS2 era. So this is a collection I absolutely will be picking up and checking out here with the newer visuals and everything. TMNT Shredder's Revenge, we have the Radical Reptiles DLC, as well as Remix Soundtrack. That part is out today. It is a free download. The DLC will be something that's paid for and will follow along. Sonic Cross Shadow Generations, there's a movie pack, so you do have Keanu Reeves then voicing Shadow. Fantasia Neo Dimension, looking forward to this one. December 5th, so we did get that release date. Dragon Age The Veilguard had an extended look. For some reason, I mean, just marketing, I guess, there, October 31st. Alan Wake 2, the Lake House expansion, that's coming out in October. Hitman World of Assassination VR, that's PSVR 2 in December. Legacy of Kain, Soul Reaver 1 and 2 Remastered. This leaked out early on. So we had all the details we were expecting here, but really, really cool to see this. It is a Spire, so I know people are like, oh, okay, a little hesitant there with some of their mess-ups in the past with some remasters, so we'll see. At least from the initial look, it looks cleaner, still looks like they're sticking to like the original idea of the game and stuff, so it seems like if they have that, they have the controls figured out. This should hopefully be a good remaster of these games, but we'll find out December 10th. Fear the Spotlight. Looked like a PS1 style visual game. That's October 22nd. Towers of Aspa. That's November 24th, early access. Lego Fortnite getting a split screen mode, and then a Fortnite limited edition DualSense controller that I'm sure will actually sell very, very well over the holidays. So, Dynasty Warriors Origins, that's January 17th, 2025. I fell out of Dynasty Warriors a long time ago because honestly, every time I see it, it's like, yeah, that's definitely Dynasty Warriors. We saw Monster Hunter Wilds here for the 12th time. That's February 28th. So we do have that release date there. Not actually that far into 2025, just a couple of months really. So I'm sure Monster Hunter fans extremely excited. There should be a very large presence for this game at Tokyo Game Show. So I'm sure he'll hear all kinds of coverage coming out of that event. Lego Horizon Adventures, that is November 14th. Finally got the release date on that one. And then we have Horizon Zero Dawn Remastered. Oh boy, PS5 and PC, which I am very curious to see how the PC audience reacts to this one. 10 hours of new recorded mocap, upgraded visuals, puts it more in line with Forbidden West. October 31st, so that's not too far off, about a month or so out. And the upgrade for people who own it is an additional $10. Again, very curious to see how PC owners react to this one, because this is not something normal for them. I mean, they're going to basically be sold better graphics for their... Yeah, I mean, that's kind of it, right? They're already maxing out the game, but how would you like the textures to look a bit better? It's $10. Stellar Blade, we have a photo mode. Original soundtrack is now available on streaming services actually today. And again, out of left field, bit of a surprise, To be. So we have a Nier Automata collaboration coming later this year as DLCs. That is actually pretty interesting to see Shift Up kind of get that collaboration going. Then we have some titles being announced for PlayStation Plus in October. That includes WWE 2K24, Doki Doki Literature Club, which if you've been following along with the Spawncast, it's kind of funny that that one's there. Dead Space, and then for the PlayStation Classics, we have Legacy of Kain, Blood Omen, and Dino Crisis. That's one we've been waiting for because it did leak out at one point through a banner on the PlayStation Store. Good to see it here, though. And then Last of Us Part 1, that is coming to the game catalog actually here in a couple of days, so I guess keep an eye out for that one if you haven't played it yet. And then we had a bunch of accessories and stuff thrown our way. The DualSense controllers, there's Indigo, Pearl, Teal. There's also the PS5 plates to go along with it. This is the Chroma Edition line. It's coming out October 3rd. Then Mark Cerny appeared on screen. Very, very calm. This is a PS5 Pro spot, just showcasing a few more titles I picked out. Let's see, Metal Gear Solid Delta and RE4 Remake. Both of those getting enhancements. They showed a bunch of other titles as well. And then the big closeout. Very excited to see this because they hit the PlayStation Studios opening animation, and then we get Sucker Punch. Yes, so we have the follow-up here to Ghost of Tsushima. This is called Ghost of Yotei, and it takes place 300 years after Ghost of Tsushima's events, and this is going to be a new character. And I will say, when they showed it, I said, you know, that it still kind of looks like Ghost of Tsushima in terms of like visuals, but we've had this conversation over and over and over again. Diminishing returns. We're kind of getting to that roof where it's hard to even showcase it, say, in a stream like this, but it does sound like they are indeed leveraging the PlayStation 5 for the ground up, which is the first time that Sucker Punch has done it. And it seems like they're going to use some of that extra power for the sweeping vistas, kind of the draw distance, that kind of thing. So I think they're pretty content with the visuals they attain, say, in Ghost of Tsushima Director's Cut, and they're more or less looking to build out from there. But I am very excited to see this 2025. So they are technically announcing it probably when they're within a year or so of its release. I kind of see this maybe as something coming out, say, in like the third quarter of 2025. So like, I'll say like August or so, maybe somewhere in there. I don't think this is a holiday 2025 release, but who really knows? They left it completely wide open. They didn't say like, oh, it's coming out spring 2025, summer, winter, nothing. So we'll just follow along with this one, but very, very happy to see Sucker Punch show back up here finally with a big game announcement, and really from Sony's first party staple to finally see that happening. Overall though, looking at the show, I thought it was okay. I feel like there are just a few games each person's gonna look at here and be like, I'll remember that one, and then not remember any of the other stuff that was announced. And that's kind of it. I mean, there's a lot of games. There are many games here we already knew about that got updates or just extended gameplay looks like Monster Hunter or Dragon Age. And then we got release dates, and we had some really fun, interesting remasters, Legacy of Kain, we had Lunar, and then the big reveal at the end. So it's nothing that was like, oh, big announcement after big announcement, but I feel like for a state of play, it kind of falls in line with what we tend to expect from them. And here's hoping that at some point, Sony is ready to have a big showcase to really go all in on some big announcements with first parties, and then also have some third parties, of course, get in there. But I feel like for a state of play, it was right there in the middle. I'd probably end up giving it like a C. Next up, let's talk about Ubisoft, because there seems to be some weird stuff happening right now, specifically with Assassin's Creed Shadows. So you would figure Ubisoft would want to wheel this game out at Tokyo Game Show, big booth, have people playing it, checking out the game, ton of excitement, a lot of advertising potential there for, of course, Japan, where it's taking place. But something happened. We can see this over on Twitter X's from Genki, who is relaying this information from Ubisoft Japan, saying Ubisoft Japan have canceled their planned TGS online stream due to various circumstances. Okay. I mean, you can see at the bottom, I guess the games they at least had planned to show were Assassin's Creed Shadows, Star Wars Outlaws, Rainbow Six Siege, X Defiant. Okay, so they canceled their stream, which is all right, I guess. Again, you feel like they want to advertise Assassin's Creed Shadows. It's coming out in what, 2 months now? Less than that, month and a half. Well, then it gets a little more interesting, because we can see this was reported by Insider Gaming, saying according to various sources, the Assassin's Creed Shadows press previews were scheduled to take place next week, and the embargo date for the previews would be announced then. However, Insider Gaming has learned that Ubisoft has also canceled its press previews. of Assassin's Creed Shadows, of course, going along with the information of them canceling their TGS stream. So this seems to be tied to Assassin's Creed Shadows, obviously, and I am wondering right now with kind of the discourse online, and it seems like it is obviously with what we're seeing right now with Tokyo Game Show being the next big event tied to the Japanese audience and their response to it. It's really hard to say because, well, one, I don't speak Japanese, so it's hard for me to go through and rely completely on Google Translate if I want to grab social media posts or something and just hope it gets any kind of nuance or meaning correct. But this is a clear sign from Ubisoft that something isn't right behind the scenes in terms of them approaching these events, whether it's for previews or a Tokyo Game Show. And now I am wondering if Assassin's Creed Shadows is getting delayed, because you feel like you pull out of an event like that because you don't want the release date to be shown, which might be in question now. You're not going to do your press preview events because, well, we're going to alter or change what exactly is played, or, well, it's not coming out yet. We have some time now to work on it more because maybe it's coming out next year. So we'll see if Ubisoft has something a bit more concrete to announce here in the coming days leading up to Tokyo Game Show, or maybe they wait for it to pass and then they make an announcement here in a week or two that we need more time for Assassin's Creed Shadows. We'll see you in 2025. And in our last bit of news, let's talk about Level 5, as they did have their own streaming showcase, and they did show a number of games and even announced some PlayStation 4 titles for 2026, which is outright impressive at this point, but we can see their event here, and I have some of the bullet points, some of the games that were announced, starting with Fantasy Life I, that has now been moved to April 2025, Professor Layton and the New World of Steam, that is coming out in 2025, Deca Police. So this was the one game that I was really interested in to see for this presentation. It has become more ambitious. They have admitted this. There's an anime and a game, of course, that they're going to try to launch at the same time. It's a large open world, 2026, which is absolutely wild because this game is basically supposed to be out now. And, okay, 2026. We don't know when in 2026. It could be like early, and it's like, okay, that's not 2-year delays, like a year and a half. It could also be late in 2026. I mean, what they have shown so far, the game looks compelling. Like, I am very interested in what they come up with here, but wow, okay, that's something. Then we have Megaton Musashi W Wired, new character and update that is in November. Inazuma 11 Victory Road. I've never gotten into these Inazuma games. People seem to get a kick out of them. Yeah. June 2025. So worldwide release, by the way, so it's not going to be staggered at all. Looking forward to that for fans next year. And then Inazuma 11 or just remake of the first game. This is one I would be curious to see because it's the first game in the series. Yes, I would at least be interested. And they showed some of the stuff. It looked a bit more, I don't know, isometric. It looked like it could be kind of fun. 2026, and yes, it's coming out on the PS4. So PS4 continues to live on. That will be a game coming out near 13 years after the console's release. So, wow, that's what a run for the PS4. I think it is going to rival the PlayStation 2 at this point because that had like, what, FIFA 2014? So it's getting there. And then they finished up with a game called Holy Horror Mansion. They said it's a Ghostcraft RPG. There's more info in the spring next year, 2025. And all they said is coming soon, but not too soon. So it does seem like a game that's probably shaping up to be 2026. But yeah, my biggest takeaway from that Level 5 showcase was indeed that Deca Police really is that far off, and I guess it has gotten that much larger behind the scenes, more ambitious. Hopefully it ends up coming out the other side in a good state, because when we hear those words, we go, oh, whoa, okay, hold on. Big open world, ambitious, it's taking years longer. Sometimes that happens and it comes out in just a broken mess. So here's hoping they take their time on that, because that could legitimately be a new IP that they continue on for quite a while. As again, it does look pretty interesting, so I'll keep an eye on that one, and let me know if I should look into this Inazuma stuff a bit more down in the comments. And before we go to the comment of the day, we'll take a look at the poll that I posted up yesterday, where I ask, give the state of play a grade. Let's see, C was number 1, 45%, then B. All right, yeah, that's about right. It's like, yeah, not bad, not incredible, not great. And then we have D at 16%, F at 12%, and then A at 5%. I will admit this, if we got to the end and there was no Ghost of Tsushima, in my mind, I was thinking, oh wow, are they going to close out with Horizon Zero Dawn Remaster? And they keep going, it's like, okay, there's more, oh great, there's Sucker Punch, we're good. If Sucker Punch wasn't there with no announcement, I'll be honest, it might have been closer to a D. It might have been down there in like D territory, because everything else is just kind of like, that's cool. Okay, there's some fun remasters, but you're always sitting there like, okay, when's the big PlayStation showcase? When's the big PlayStation Studios animation gonna play? And then we'll see Naughty Dog, or then we'll see Sony Santa Monica, or then Blue Point, or Sucker Punch. Okay, so yeah, Sucker Punch in some ways did kind of save that show from being a bit lower on that grade scale for me. And we'll finish up with the comment of the day, as you're seeing here. This is from Alfred Kowski. He says, the Switch 2 Attach makes a comeback. Yeah, so we had the Attach. That was a name that, if people are unfamiliar, that was part of a YouTube survey. It popped up, the name, and we kind of looked at it and said, that's funny. YouTube making stuff up. And now I'm thinking, wait a minute, that actually kind of makes sense if indeed they're going to use that top port to attach things. But still, I don't think that's a great name for it. I have to imagine Nintendo is going to play it safe. Don't do anything too weird. Don't Nintendo it up too much with the name. You can Nintendo up the technology and stuff. They're good at that part. Don't get weird with it. Nintendo Switch 2, it's right there. It's a layup. Don't go for the half-court shot. And ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it here for Newswave. If you enjoyed this video, guys, hit that like button. If not, hit the dislike. Leave comments down below about everything we talked about here today. If you missed yesterday's Newswave, I'll have it up here in a card for you to check out. Or maybe you wanted to hear more discussion around this recent state of play. Mystic Ryan and I actually did an entire conversation over on the Spawncast channel with Click R3. I'll leave that right below it. Thanks, guys, for watching, and I'll see you next time.